way to get paint for the Z. I'm also getting paint for this Subaru, but I forgot to bring the paint can so I get the exact same stuff. That's typical for me. Only thing, I have enough base coat for this, for my rear bumper. I just don't have enough of the pearl coat. I use a lot more of that to try to get it to match. So I need more. Yeah, typical. Anyways, we're getting paint for the Z, and then when we get back home, I got a lot of body work to do. Now, compared to what I've normally been doing, it's really not a lot. But the front bumper needs a little bit of fixing. The door needs a little bit of work, and the side skirt needs a little bit of work. And besides that, the rest of it's just scuffing. Like the rear hatch, depends. I don't think I ground that down too much. I think we can feather that out with sanding. I'm hoping that I could just like clear the rear hatch, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm not very good at that, and I already burnt through the clear. So I think you would see that transition if I didn't paint it. So I'm probably going to end up putting paint on that too. But yeah, body work is just one of those things that I would rather just be able to just paint. I think if I was in the field, I would want to be a painter and not a prepper. A prepping job, that's kind of like, it's almost like being a garbage man. It's a job, it pays, but it's not fun. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Alright, so I went to the paint store. I have to go back to get my paint, but I got paint for this and paint for the Z, plus a gallon of clear, plus a gallon of reducer. No, I didn't get a gallon of reducer. I got a couple quarts of reducer. But it all came out to like $4.20 something. And yeah, what is it? What is that? Oh my god. In all honesty, the only reason I'm here is this torque bit sockets for the airbag and the steering wheel. They have a little pinhole in them, so they're like a special Torx bit. And the one I was using somehow walked away. I had it in the freaking car. I've looked everywhere. It walked away, so I got to go get another one. That's the only reason I'm here. I'm not saying that's the only thing I'm going to get in here, but I'm just saying that's why I'm here. Just one set of sockets. Just one set of sockets. That's it, right? That's all that's in there. It's $86 worth of a socket. Yep, that was... Kind of missed the days of Harbor Freight whenever you'd walk in with like 10 coupons to get things you wanted. Doesn't pan out like that anymore, and the prices are not the same. So it's kind of like not as much of a deal anymore. It's still, I mean, you get what you need, which is the main thing, right? Alright, you turds, you're about to get what you want, okay? But I just want to tell you one thing. I am not washing over on this side. I'm washing on this side because that's where I'm doing most of my body work. But the main reason I'm not washing this side is because I need to get the windows reprogrammed, and I can't, currently for some reason I can't get them programmed, so every time I open the door it comes down and does not go back up. So this is open, and that's all the further up I can get it, because every time I open the door it drops down again so that it clears the seal. And yeah, so the passenger door I got because I don't have to open it to get out, but this side I couldn't. So I'm just letting you know why this window, actually I could go in through the hatch and put it up. Oh, that sounds like fun. I do really want to wash this whole thing. Oh man, that's gonna be fun. You're all typical dudes. You only want one thing, and it's disgusting. Alright guys, pull them back up, put the zipper up, we're done. So what I wanted to do there was just wash everything, because if I'm going to be sanding and stuff like that, I don't want to sand dirt into the existing paint that's already there, okay? So the front bumper is going to get a little bit of body work here. It doesn't look like much, okay? But I have it indented right here because this was kind of creased and I heated it and pushed it back in. So I need to do a little bit of body work here. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to push some more in or not, but it's pretty close. Right here is an indent that we can probably sand that down. And there's a couple more in it. There's like wears where the paint wore off completely. And that'll be just maybe sanding, light sanding. Got kind of a dimple right there as well. Down here in the front, I already kind of shaped it, but this needs to be popped back out a little bit more. Kind of crease that right there. We're going to do our best to get that as straight as can be, but there's going to be probably a little bit of body work down here. And yeah, I kind of creased that right there when I was heating it with the body kit on. That's nice. So I'll have to, you know, work with that and try to get that better. Our front lip will be here this week, so, and it's fiberglass, so I'll just have to sand it and we'll paint it. But I want to get this bumper fit for that. I'm also painting the other front lip because if possibly I want to switch back to it, then I'll have it and it will already be painted. Fender just needs scuffed. I pretty much got that smooth right there. I'm not good with my camera. I got it smooth right there, so we're good there. The door, now that it's clean, you can really see the reflections. And like I said, those scuffs in the middle, you cannot see a dent there at all where it's at. So that's just going to be a scuff and paint right there. Right here is where all your damage is, and you can kind of see it now with the reflections. Let me get on this side of it. It's very slight, but it's enough that once it's painted and done, then you're going to see a dent right there. And I just don't want it. Right here is mainly where the dent's at. It's kind of, it is really hard to see, I'm telling you. Side skirt, it got warped down there. I already kind of formed it, but it needs to come off, and we need to do a little bit better job on it. It has a trim piece that goes over top of it. It's kind of like a mud flap, and it's in good shape. It's just that it deformed that. The mud flap, it actually bent up right where the mud flap meets, and that's, you're going to see that if I don't do something with it. And then the rear hatch that would have never needed painted, but I messed that up, so it needs painted. The rest of this is not getting painted, so we'll get to the hatch last. I want to get this bodywork taken care of. As for the rest of the car, it's in wonderful shape. I mean, it is in good shape. It could use a buff. Needs a little touch up right here. Right here needs a little touch up. And then there's a chip on the hood right there. It's an aluminum hood. I'm not, repainting it. I'm not going to redo it. I can tell you right now, a big flat surface like this, I have trouble getting a really good finish on something like that. You have to lay a lot of clear down, and I just have not perfected that yet. So I don't really want to repaint the hood. Plus, that can just be cut and buffed, and it would look a lot better. So, yeah, it's looking nice. And I think I will do a little bit of body work on this fender. Where I've dented it, I don't know. If you look at it really close in the light, there, you see that little bit of a dent there? That's just a little bit of glazing putty, and that's not going to be a big issue. All right, I know you guys are probably getting tired of product reviews, but this is something that I needed for the Z. A backup camera, and it's a surveillance camera, forward and backwards surveillance camera. So let me show you that. So Pelsee sent that out to me, and I have it partially installed. We need to finish it. I already have the wire for the rear camera ran through the headliner and back around the rear hatch, and since I still have power hooked up, let's just do this. So as you can see, here it is. I have the wire back here. Nice thing about this Z from my other Z is it has this light on it, and it has reverse lights in it. So I'm going to run the camera right here, which I have just enough room to put it in there. And then I'm going to run my signal wire down to this, where I'm going to splice into it for my reverse lights. Let me start taking this apart. You got to run the wire back to the camera, and then I got to run the signal wire. So that's where I'm at. I'll get back to you once I get that put in. Alright kids, so it's wired in. This thing has accident avoidance. I don't know how it does it, but it's probably just going to throw a warning on the screen. Yes, it doesn't really fit the Z too well. The mirror on a Z is really thick, and it just has these rubber straps that fit on it, and then you have to have the camera out past the side here. My fingers. So it kind of looks funky on this side, but that's just the way it's going to fit up for me. And so it does record sound. You can take pictures, captured successfully, and you can lock the screen if you don't want it tampered with. It does hold an SD card in the top. It did come with a 32 gigabyte card. Let me change some settings on this thing because it's in kilometers and the time's not set right. So let me set all that stuff right now. All right, so without having this outside, I can't properly calibrate the avoidance on this thing. As you can see, it tells you to make the red line right where the sky meets, the yellow line where the end of the hood is, and the green line right in the center. I kind of, just threw some up there. I'm going to save that for now. And then you can calibrate. Should I turn that on? Choose assist driving 4K. Yeah. And then calibrate the lanes. And this is going to be really hard to even do. You almost have to sit on a road. Yeah. So personally, I think I will use the blind spot detection. But, I mean, especially on a Z, there's blind spots. But I am going to turn the accident avoidance off. So this does have a parking mode, and you can set a G sensor. So put that G spot on. I have the sensor set on medium. So if this detects movement, it'll turn on and start recording both cameras. So you can move the camera view up and down. The button on the bottom, you hit it, then you get a rear view mirror. Tap it again, screen comes back. Only downside to this is to have this mirror adjusted where I need it. It kind of makes the camera face towards the passenger side, and the camera, I can't move it any further over than what it already is. It's pretty much maxed out right where it's at. But I still get a good view though with it, so I mean, maybe I'll leave it right there like that. Personally, I kind of like having both the screens up at the same time. That's pretty nice. This does record in 2.5K, 1080, or 4K. The back camera only does 1080, which is still really clear if you're looking at that. I don't know how it shows up on my camera, but it's still really clear. The front camera, you're seeing waves because of my garage lighting. If I was outside, you probably wouldn't see that. This camera does have a GPS thing you can plug into it. You can set it up in your headliner or on your dash or whatever. I personally don't like using those GPS things, so I'm not plugging it in, but it does come with that. I'm just letting you know that option. But yeah, now Tawny has a backup camera. So if you want to get yourself one of these, then, oh, that needs to go up. There we go. Drop down to the link in my description. There will be a link to this, hopefully a discount code if I'm lucky. And then you guys can get your hands on one of these things for in your vehicle. Okay, so I got this closer now, but in the process also dented this in. This was already dented in, but I dented it in a little bit more. I am going to try this new tool that I got that I need to do a review on. It is from Vevor, and it is a body tool. I don't know if it works on aluminum, so we're going to find out today. I'm going to have to grind all this down to the bare aluminum, and then I'm going to have to clamp it on there. I think you're supposed to use like a magnet or something, and I don't have one. But we're gonna do this. I'm gonna try it, and we're gonna see. I should be able to slide hammer this. I'm gonna have to move the car back a little bit so I have room. But this tool is pretty cool. You may have seen tools like this, like professionals using. This is not that tool, but this is a very affordable way to get yourself into something like this in the $200 to $300 range. And what this does is it has like copper contacts on it, and you can spin these around, use multiple different ends. There's a whole bunch of different ends for this thing that you can tack on and then slide hammer this out. Now, being that that's a long dent, our most effective way is probably going to be these keys that are in here, or washers, and then you put a rod through them and hook onto them with this thing and slide hammer it out. Another thing you can do is use this to just spot weld this stuff. But yeah, I'm going to go through some of this, and we're going to figure this out together. And we're going to figure out how to do this. Alright, so apparently it doesn't work on aluminum. I even tried this. It comes with the suction cup, so I tried that. We really don't have a lot of an indent there, so I'm just going to scuff this up really well, and I'm going to use my putty and just do it the way I do everything else. That's that thin part of the door. There's really no way to access the inside of it. My studs won't work on that. I mean, I could probably use maybe like aluminum in my MIG welder and try it that way, but I'm going to do a lot more damage to this door instead of just doing the putty right there. And that's not a real flimsy part of the door either. That's where it's really sturdy, so there's not going to be a lot of vibrations there. I think it's going to be fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and scuff this up with like 80 grit, maybe even rougher than that, and then I'll get the rest of this out here with a lighter grit, and then we're just going to skim it and make it look great. I already have the lip out just where it's about supposed to be, so let's just fix this real quick and get that over with. not too shabby. Now we're gonna have to feather out the primer. Yeah, we're gonna have to feather out the primer around the edges and stuff. And you can see the putty kind of absorbs the primer, so it stays kind of darker. So you can see where the putty's at, but once I hand sand this, that'll disappear. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I'm not doing that right now. Like I said, these scratches right here, I believe we're gonna sand out. I don't think we're gonna have to do anything with that. And if we do, at the most, I'll probably just be able to spray some primer over it and then sand it, and that'll fill those scratches if that comes to that. But I'm pretty happy with that. I think that looks really good. Now, I'm not the best at bodywork, but I've had a lot of practice now, okay? And I'm getting a little bit better. That only took me 2 skim coats of putty. And normally, when I'm shaping something, it takes me a lot longer. But being that it wasn't that deep, and it was a flat surface, semi-flat, you know what I mean? There's no creases or body lines and stuff like that. I just had to block sand it. And I tried... I mean, you can use an air sander. There's nothing against that. That, you know, really speeds up your job. But you're not going to get perfect shape. I found that I always get a better shape when I block sand. So I always try to end with block sanding. So I did use the air sander for a little bit. The second coat, I block sanded that completely with 240. Primer will cover 240, and it sands it down pretty quick. Pretty sure we solved the mystery of how this thing was wrecked, okay? So one of my subscribers messaged me before my first video came out for this. It was right before it came out. And he was like, I just wanted to let you know that I was inspired by you. I wanted a Z car. And he bid and bought a 370Z from, like, Texas. I think it was Texas. Maybe it was Florida. Anyways, he won a 2019. He got it cheaper than I got this for. So he got a pretty good deal. But it has a lot more. It's missing, like, everything in the front end. And anyways, we got to talking. My video came out. He bid on this. I actually was bidding against him on this car. Okay, so thanks for making me pay more than I needed to. Okay, I like you guys, but come on, we gotta communicate. Let me know. Okay, I'm bidding on a Z today. Let me know. Anyways, he had a Carfax for this. He ran a Carfax, a couple other things. The accident said it was a side swipe collision with another vehicle. Pretty sure it was a motorcycle. So homeboy was probably traveling some good speeds to knock that wheel back into here and break the lower control arm and in that fender. But that also kind of explains why nothing else really got damaged. He probably hit there and then flew over the vehicle, and his bike probably just bounced right off. So I'm pretty sure it was the motorcycle that hit this. To blow airbags and everything, he was moving. That was pretty good speed. So yeah, now we mainly got that taken care of. I do have to disassemble this door. I'm going to wait to do that and sand it completely because I have a lot of this interior tore apart. I have stuff everywhere. My seat belts and crash module are supposed to be here Monday, which is in 2 days. So I kind of want to put the whole interior back together before I tear this door apart. I even want to put the seat in too. So I'll do that. That way I can clean the interior and get everything. And then I only have one thing. When you tear too much apart, you get all your bolts and stuff mixed up. And it's a pain in the butt. I want to take this mirror off. I want to take the door handle off. And this window trim just kind of clips in here. I want to get that off there so we can paint up to where there's not going to be any mask lines. Don't worry, kids. We will be utilizing that thing. I do want to do a review on it, but it's just not an aluminum thing. I got those dents that I put in that fender. I think we're going to try it on that. So next thing we're going to be tackling, well, I got to get that Nissan emblem off the front bumper. And then right here, I did already shape this some. But I want to get this shaped a little bit better. And I want to get that bumper shaped a little bit better right here. I have it shaped pretty good up there. But right here, I need to get that heated and kind of popped out some. Because you are going to see some of that and I don't want to. I did purchase this a long time ago. It is Bumper Fix. It's putty for plastics. Now, this came from like Germany or something. I don't know. I was looking for like a flexible putty, something to work on bumpers, and I never came across anything until this. And this is not a lot, but this was like, I want to say about $40, maybe. But yeah, we're gonna maybe try some of that. This thing's even deformed back here. I didn't even really notice that until now. Yeah. We're gonna get this looking the best it can. I mean, honestly, you don't see a lot of that because it's down underneath the car. Like this, you don't even really notice because it's down underneath the car. But I want to get it shaped better. This, you're going to notice that mud flap kind of fits to it right there. And that's where it flexed at. And that's the perfect shape of the mud flap, how it creased like that. So that bottom lip on that is coming off too. That like valence guard. My new front lip will be here soon. It's fiberglass. It's complete fiberglass. It's almost identical to the one I had on my last Z. It's not that aggressive. Doesn't look like a PennDOT plow like the one I got now. It'll be a lot easier to paint. We're gonna paint the plow too, okay? But I'm done for this evening. Tomorrow I'll pick back up where I left off. And I'm glad I washed this thing because now I got everything dusty again. It's a vicious cycle. I can't remember the last footage. I went ahead and sanded that door. Looks nice. Just did this. It's still drying, the primer. But that little slight dent that was at the end of that fender, I took care of that. You see the way the light hits it? There's nothing now. So it took like a minimal amount of putty and then self-etching primer because there was some bare metal, and then like that TranStar primer. Like, this is the best stuff you can get out of a spray can. Okay, I use this for a lot of my jobs because it makes it easy. It's not cheap, but this is good stuff. You won't regret. This stuff sands easy. It applies nice. This is about the best stuff you can get when it comes to spray on primer. And they have all colors. I have white and gray over there, and I just got the black for this. So like, it's gonna blend a lot easier. I am gonna put sealer over top of it, which is a dark gray, but we're not gonna have any problems with coverage because black on black, you know what I mean? That putty says it needs like 45 minutes to dry. I don't know if it's flexible. I've never used it before. We're gonna find out. I just disassembled the bumper. We need to try to shape these the best we can. And I wasn't gonna paint this mud flap, but I'm like, if I don't, and it's not a perfect match when I put it up against that, then you're going to notice. So I'm going to go ahead and spray this as well. So I need to clean that up. But that's a molded mud flap that kind of goes on there. Took everything off the bumper except for the Nissan emblem that needs to come off. And that's good there. The door, I'm going to get into that later. So all I got to do is sand it and disassemble it. The rear hatch, we're going to have to take the wing off, mask it, and sand it. And we're going to try to get as close to the seal as possible. And we're also going to try to sand it where we can just end up clear coating it. Because I really don't want to repaint all of this back here. Because if it's not a perfect match, it's really going to show. And I would rather not. And if it does come up that I do need to paint it, I'm going to try to just get the back section back there. So the only place it's going to look like it might not match if it's not close is going to be where it meets the bumper there. And that wing's kind of break up that transition. I'm not a professional. I'm just telling you the way I think it's going to go, okay? Watch me screw up or be successful. That's up to you. I decided that I am getting this done this week because I don't want to wait another week to get the enhanced inspection done on this. And as I had it planned, I was going to sand it, prep it, paint it Friday because I'm off Friday, and then reassemble it Saturday. So the enhanced inspection station is only open until noon on Saturday. There is no way I would get that done. So I decided that I'm going to get all of this work done, even putting the interior back together this week, during the week, because my seatbelts and module are supposed to be here tomorrow. Um, then I'm going to get everything sanded, prepped, and ready. And then Thursday when I get home from work, I'm going to paint this. So that'll be Thursday night. So then Friday, I have all day to assemble it. And the paint had plenty of time to dry. And then Saturday morning, we can go get it inspected. And this build will be done. So I'm thinking the paint and the assembly might be 2 episodes. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out right now in my head. I can't really plan things out. I just kind of go with the flow, and that's just how things work. I need my tripod. So as for right now, we're going to get the heat gun out, and we're going to try to shape these. Well, since I'm already doing this, these 2 mounts that broke off, I'm going to hot staple them. Now, you got to really watch what you're doing because you can burn through the front and then I'll have to paint the whole side skirt. But, I mean, I'm here. I might as well do it. But, yes, you can see where they go. Yeah, so I'm going to scuff that up, clean it up. This one is still attached at the top, detached at the bottom. So we're going to put some hot staples in those mounts that broke off. And we're going to attempt to save this side skirt. I really didn't know if a hammer and dolly would work on that, but it actually worked pretty dang good. As long as you get it heated up good enough that the plastic's going to mold, then you can tap on it with dollies and just kind of flatten that area out. And mine looked pretty good. I mean, there's still a little bit of a wrinkle there, but that's not near what it was. And so I think I can work with that and this putty and stuff I got. But let's do this hot staple thing. I got to get it out and get these attached. That held a lot stronger than I anticipated. I'm telling you what, if you get your hands on one of these hot staple guns, they didn't sponsor me. I bought that from Vevor. It's been well worth the money so far. I didn't burn through the front. You can turn the temperature down. It has 3 settings, like a low, medium, and high, so that it burns in slower or faster. Medium setting on that, and I didn't burn through to the front. So there's no marks on either end. That thing's a lifesaver. And you can plastic weld with it too. You can use those plastic staples and just melt plastic and stuff. So I mean, it's a good tool to have in your garage, especially for fixing stuff up on a budget. So now we got that shaped a little bit better. Let's move over to this and try to shape this a little bit better. Right there is the main dent. Like I said, we're not going to see that, but I'm going to just try to make that a little bit better. And then it kind of has this pushed in as well. I almost need to flip this thing over to do that. So it's shaped better, but it's still not 100%. But that's where I'm hoping this putty makes up for it. So we're going to sand these surfaces with like a real low grit, like 80 grit, and get them we're going to do it with a block sander, and we're going to see where all of our high points are and sand them down, and where the low parts are, and then we're going to try to get them cleaned up. And I might have to push some of this stuff in. I think I got most of this. We're going to sand some of those high spots down. The plastic's thick, so I mean, there's some give to it, but we want to smooth that out as best as possible. The same with this. I just looked at this again, and it's raised up. So I don't know if I should sand that down or if I should just roll with it and hope that the putty makes up for it. Well, let's start sanding them, and we'll see how everything turns out. Alright, I'm going to be real with you. I didn't realize this stuff was from Russia. Okay. I didn't order it, like, after everything that's going on. Just letting you know that. This was before all that. I've had this sitting in here for at least a year. I just never had a reason to use it yet. And it says on the back here, dry time, 30 to 45 minutes. So I'm going to leave this some time to dry. I do like how it goes on. It's a thicker consistency, but it's smooth, so it kind of spread it on. It spread on really nice, and I got like a decent shape to it right off the bat. And I'm thinking once we sand that down, we're gonna have the shape that we want, and I'm hopeful that it's gonna work out pretty good because it's looking nice. So I'm gonna leave this stuff time to dry. I'm gonna go eat something. I'll come back out and it should be ready to go. The only thing I didn't like about this, now if you guys know any other kind of bumper putty that is good and is readily available and you don't have to order it from there, let me know down in the comments. Drop me a comment if you know any good flexible bumper putties. I don't even know if this is flexible. I just know it's for plastic bumpers. So I'm trying it. But the only thing I didn't like is when you mix the hardener in, it's pink, and you honestly cannot tell when this is mixed in. It doesn't change the color of the putty at all when it mixes in. So that, or I didn't use enough, and we'll find that out here soon, I guess. All right, so it's been about 45 minutes. It's dry to the touch. It has a softer feel to it. Here's what I had left. It is, from what I'm seeing, semi-flexible. Look at that. It normally, regular putty, when you bend the putty knife, it breaks off. So here's a chunk of it. Yes, it is flexible. See, normal putty would snap right there. Now, I really had to bend that over to snap it. And the thinner stuff, yeah, that's going to be good stuff if it works. But I'm going to use 400 on the air sander, and I'm going to see how this knocks this down. But I'm hopeful. It seems pretty good. Alright, so it works and it is flexible. I like it a lot. It's gonna, that's good for on plastics. Like I said, most of this is gonna be covered by mud flap, which is that one over there I have. I need to do a lot more shaping on this, and I need to block sand it. So I'm going to add some more to this, and I need to sand all around that area, because then whenever I go to lay in my primer to then smooth it out one more time, then it will have everything to grip to. Because if you just sand this area and you prime it and you get over on like shiny paint and stuff like that, your primer's not going to grip to that. So I need to go ahead and hand sand this whole area right in here with 400 and get it ready so that the primer will stick. I'm going to probably hit it with some adhesion promoter before I put the primer on as well, so I know it's going to stick to this. Where I'm stopping for tonight, so that means we have a ton more stuff. I'm tired. I have a ton more stuff to do. Side skirt is done. I just need to sand out the rest of it. Primed all that. It's not perfect, but it's really good. The only thing I'm not liking with this putty is it doesn't sand out as nice as the glazing putty I use. I'm thinking, after looking at this, I'm almost debating just doing a real light skim coat with that, because I'm getting like pinholes and stuff. And that glazing putty, that's what you should be using that for, not to fill in stuff on here. I got it shaped pretty dang good. You can still see all the areas that had the putty in it, and I think we're going to have to put some glazing putty in right there, because I heated this bumper then, and I had to push some areas in that were stuck out, and the putty got a little bubble in it right there, and it left a little mark. And it's just a pinhole. You can put glazing putty on a bumper if it's just a pinhole or a very small area. Something that's not going to flex as much. Now, like if it was like a crease that was long, and I filled all that in, you flex the bumper, that putty's going to crack, it's going to fall out, whatever. A pinhole, something that's not going to flex as much, or like I said, like that little mark there, that's going to be fine. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. I need to sand this primer down, and then I'll fill that small spot in whenever I do all these other itty-bitty spots over here. But I mainly got the bodywork aspect of everything I'm doing done today, which is a good thing, because the rest of it is just going to be sanding and painting, which is still a lot of work. But the bodywork section here, and then using flexible putty that I've never used before, that just kind of put a wrench into things. So I think I might end the episode right here. So my new front lip came in, and I got it out of the packaging. It's packaged really well. I got it out, and I am disappointed, to say the least. I paid more for this new front lip, and I knew it was fiberglass, okay? But the last one that I put on my last Z, it was, the side pieces were fiberglass, or they were pretty much just like these. The side pieces were fiberglass, and the middle piece was carbon fiber. This one is complete plastic, really thick plastic, and this was cheap. I think this was like $119, okay? Like on eBay. Now, the way it was shaped was crap, but this piece, I paid double than that, over double for this, and this is crap. Let me show you this. There are literally air pockets under the gel coat, like up top here. I pushed on that with my finger, and my finger went through it and left a hole. So fiberglass strand filler you'd have to put in there. to fix that, and then the gel coat's gone. Over here was another air pocket that was already busted out, and I think it's an air pocket all around it. The shaping. The shaping all around here is rough, pinholes, holes. The way it fits here, like this is where it would be. I have the center section bolted on. This one, this is where it fits. So like if I go to pull these together, this is where you mount it at underneath. If I go to mount that, that's gonna pull that in. And like over here, if I put that up against it, pulls it in and puts a gap across here and a gap across the top. I don't know. I still kind of like this one, but I don't like the way it fits for crap. So then I was like, well, instead of using those mounts, I'm gonna drill a hole right here and screw it in through the bottom there. Look how much filler is in that. There is a 1/4 inch of some sort of filler over top of the fiberglass right there, and it cracked it now. It's like smudges right there. Just look at that. If I would have just sanded that and then painted it, first time something would have touched that right there, it would have been a hole. Yeah. Hey, here's a pinhole. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards the PennDOT plow over there. Nope, that's a negative. And there's no way I can return this now at this point either because of everything that I did. $260 worth of crap. I don't want that on my car. But anyways, I'm gonna start the next video because I got my crash module and seat belts, and I need to get this interior back together so then I can really tear into this bodywork. So if you like this video, smash that like button, consider subscribing. Ending this on a good note. We're getting it done this week, so who cares, okay? Setbacks are setbacks. That's not really a setback, it's just wasted money. That's how I see it. Hit that dislike button if your mom has expensive taste but cheap quality. I will see you on the next episode of Unwrecked. Poor kitties got their Christmas time bath. Look at you. Oh, you're so... Oh, kick it. Kick it out. Kick it out. How are you? Oh, look at you. You're so clean. You don't want to talk to me, do you? Huh? Tell him. I've been abused. I'm wet. Still being. But you're so clean. You don't like it. I'm so sorry. I didn't do this. What are we doing? Yeah? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.